Hey, what's up everyone? Your fluffy armchair Admiral here with another video. This time, we are going to celebrate hitting 500 subscribers on my channel. And with that said, I'd like to thank you all for all the support and trust you've given me. Every single one of you who subscribed, joined my Discord, gave my videos a like or dislike, or the ones that commented on my videos with your valuable feedback have helped me to get to where I am right now. It is so motivating to see more and more people to subscribe to my channel every week. I'm glad to have you here. In today's video, unlike usual, I will be answering your questions that you've posted on my Discord server. But before I begin, I'd like to encourage you to join said server, where you can post your questions for any upcoming Q&A video, as well as your scenario proposals for Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, requests for names or routes or vehicles in Transport Fever, interesting mods or tips for D-Ray Valley or Train Sim World, or cool places to visit in Microsoft Flight Sim that I'm planning to feature more in future on my channel. Or lastly, you can just read channel updates in my announcement section. Just use the link in description of this video to join now. And finally, if you want to stay up to date with my latest content, please consider to subscribe to my channel and press that bell icon. So, let's get started. The first question is Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts the only warship game you play, or do you play anything else? In example, World of Warships. Well, Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts is definitely not the only naval-themed game I play. I used to play, or will be playing. I do play World of Warships, although not as active as I used to in the past. I also played War Thunder along with other games like Cold Waters, U-Boat, Silent Hunter, Naval Action, or even good old Navy Fields, and many more. The second question is, do you plan on any other games for the channel? Yes, I do. Making of any YouTube channel requires for content to change, and so it will change over time. I will definitely be featuring some other games that I find interesting, and I'll be happy to share those experiences with all of you. For example, I'd like to make some more videos from Microsoft Flight Simulator, as well as other games that will appear on the horizon in upcoming future. Time will tell what I will and what I can make, as I got my regular job that takes large chunk of my time every week. Another question is, what inspired you to start YouTube? Well, basically I just wanted to develop some new skills, and I thought that building YouTube channel that has some following and perhaps in the future might become my regular job is a good motivation. Basically, when I started to make my first videos, I wasn't really expecting to reach large following, but so far it is going much better than I expected. I'd say at this point it is somewhat like a snowball effect. The more I achieved, the higher I want to reach. 500 subscriber is a significant milestone. It marks halfway to become YouTube partner and allow for my videos to start bringing me some return of investment to equipment and tools and time spent preparing various things and learning different skills. There is still a long way to go though. Right, another question is, what is the one thing you want in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts? Well, there are basically two main things I'd like to see in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, but if I were to choose the most wanted one, it would probably be multiplayer. This game has massive potential, and providing that developers would keep balancing the game based on single player experience, adding option to play with one or more friends over internet would really make this game great. As long as it's implemented as a side feature without impacting like a single player experience too much or balancing, its existence would just make the game much more attractive. And with that said, well, I mentioned that there are two things that I would like to see in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, and the second one would definitely be appearance of aircraft carriers that players can like design. They can design what kind of aircraft squadrons or what kind of aircraft complements I take on board, as well as their armament, how many bombs of different kinds, how many torpedoes, etc. That would really spice things up in the game, and perhaps it would open up a possibility for some new cool missions to be introduced into the game as well. So there's plenty of things that can be done with it. Obviously there are some people that say, oh yeah, but the game has dreadnoughts in name and there shouldn't be aircraft carriers. Well, yes and no. Looking at the history of naval warfare, it was inevitable for aircrafts to eventually make their way and appearance in naval warfare. So it was like natural development of things. People were finding different means and ways to kill each other throughout the ages, and that was one of the tools that was used. So I can see no reason why any game developer or any player would deny the history and say, well, aircraft carriers were not valid in naval warfare. They were, and they quickly became the strongest participant in naval warfare. So I have no reason to actually say that they shouldn't be in the game. Right. Enough of this. Let's get into another question. Out of all ship classes in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnought, which one is your favorite to build? Well, I really enjoy to build all of them. Basically, every single class of ship has its own use. It had historical use, it has historical meaning. So obviously destroyers were quick attack boats that mainly, at least initially, were designed to operate near the shoreline. Later on they eventually evolved into ships that can have some sort of seakeeping abilities that allowed them to sail on high seas and perhaps well, operate in the middle of the oceans. So destroyers were definitely large part of that. Then we got massive behemoths, like biggest ships ever built, biggest, heaviest armored, which are sluggish, well, battleships. We got battle cruisers, we got cruisers, and obviously there are aircraft carriers which we can't build in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts yet, and hopefully they will make it. Anyway, if I would to choose my favorite class of all of them, I think I would place my bet on cruisers. This class of the ship was designed to be the most versatile, with armament that is good for pretty much every situation, and they also maintain and have good seakeeping abilities. So I think that this is like a jack of all trades of all the ships that eventually player will build in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, but definitely not the strongest one. Right, let's get into another question. What ship is your favorite warship between 1906 and 1945? Well, that's a really tough choice, to be fair. There were many interesting designs in that period. To name a few: USS South Carolina, HMS Dreadnought, Regia Marina Conte di Cavour, Regia Marina Andrea Doria, Dunkirk, HMS Nelson, Bismarck, Deutschland, Gungood class battleships, and many more. Competition is strong, but if I were to choose my favorite, I'd probably go for USS South Carolina, because it was first battleship ever built with turrets in super firing position, or at least unified turrets in super firing position, because French attempted to build guns in super firing positions earlier, but well, that's a side note. Unified gun caliber and multiple technological advancements that was sadly overshadowed by Royal Navy's HMS Dreadnought that was finished earlier the same year, and that's why mainly HMS Dreadnought was one of the iconic ship of that period. Obviously, that was not the only reason. HMS Dreadnought also introduced a lot of new technological improvements that were also present in USS South Carolina, but well, she appeared later than HMS Dreadnought. I basically covered both ships as well as few others from that list in my Lots of Guns series, which I strongly encourage you to watch. Right, let's get to another question. Out of all sunken ship, you know, if you had unlimited budget and time, which one would you raise and rebuild into working order? Well, once more, there is a very strong competition here, but I think I'd go for one of the aircraft carriers that were sunk during Second World War. So I think if I would place my bets for best ship, or well, I wouldn't say best, but in my opinion best looking ship, it would be USS Yorktown, CV5. It needs to be pointed out because there were two USS Yorktowns. The later one, I think it was CV10. It was Essex class aircraft carrier. The first one was USS Yorktown, well, which was Yorktown class aircraft carrier. It had actually its own class, and this one was sunk during Battle of Midway. So that would be very likely my choice here. There are also a few honorable mentions like HMS Ark Royal or Japanese Navy's Taiho, which was also sunk. Right. Let's get into another question. Out of all nations that fought in the losing side of World War I, if you made the peace deal, which would you be the most harsh on, and would it be nicer or worse than the real peace deal? Well, I don't think I would be able to figure out better peace deal regardless of which nation I choose to be harsh on. It is worth noting that both world wars were fought between alliances of nations, and each individual nation within certain alliance had their own interests. Trying to satisfy everyone on winning side might be impossible, while conditions would benefit me more than my allies. And losing side would probably not agree if everyone is too greedy to take what they want. That's why it's called a peace deal. If I would impose my conditions after complete victory over my opponent, I'd probably take it all, or install some sort of puppet government under my control in that country. But that's completely different story. Right. Another question is, if you were to become Admiral of Naval Fleets, which nation would you like to serve for? Well, I think I'd probably lean most towards great naval powers, so they are very likely to have great traditions and amazing culture and history. So I think I will sound boring here, but I would most likely go for Royal Navy. That would be the most logical choice. It has great naval traditions and history. There are many great admirals that actually like took some sort of scholarships in United Kingdom, and they actually studied like a naval warfare before they actually became admirals of naval fleet in their own countries. The good example were admirals of Japanese Navy who actually studied in the United Kingdom. Right. Another question, and I think that's the last one. If you had unlimited budget and were asked to make a modern 21st century battleship, what weapons would you put on it? Well, I would probably seek to achieve a good balance of various types of armament. Something like a jack of all trades, master of none. Perhaps I'd go for about 6 large caliber guns, maybe 16, 17 or 18 inch. Because projectile is pretty hard to be stopped or shot down, unlike, let's say, missiles. And it can basically provide a good fire support for landing and nearshore operations for ground troops, and they are still capable of sinking modern vessels due to their large caliber and firepower. Main downside here is relatively poor accuracy, which would need to be compensated by some sort of missile armament to more effectively fight with other warships and aircraft. Perhaps I'd also find some space for some modern torpedo systems, as well as definitely good anti-air defenses. So not only missiles, but some sort of like fast-firing guns of small calibers and this sort of stuff. Finally, that ship would require to have some sort of sonar to search for submarines, and perhaps be equipped with at least 1 helipad or even 2 to improve my attack and defense against said submarines and perhaps other surface vessels. So I think that would be my main concerns, how to put all that stuff in with some sort of balanced manner. And that's basically it when it comes to build of said battleship. Definitely some sort of armoring would be in place, but again, fighting in modern wars, well, the weaponry is so powerful, and we got so much variety of weapons that building some sort of ironclad based warship which was basically impenetrable for weapons of current era would be hardly possible, in my opinion. Right, and that's basically it when it comes to your questions. Thank you for posting them. I hope that this video will encourage more of you to actually join my Discord server and post your questions for upcoming videos. But before I continue, I have one more special announcement. Starting from this week, I'm on my holiday leave for 2 weeks, which means there might be some disruptions in my normal upload schedule. This week there will be no more videos, but as for next one, some might still be missing, but I'll try and do my best to upload some videos. There might be some obvious changes. Anyway, for more details and updates, join my Discord, where I'll be posting said updates. There is an announcement channel where I regularly post my schedule and any other changes. You can find link down in description below this video. And that's it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe. If you want to stay up to date with my content, please consider to also turn on the bell icon. Have a great day and see you all later. Later. Out.